Hi, I'm Tricia Fuglestad. I'm a K-5 art teacher and the author, illustrator, and animator of Peter Meter, an augmented reality children's social emotional learning book. And I'm going to lead you through some STEAM art lessons from my classroom, and you're hopefully going to be able to follow along with me if you download this slide deck. I have some interactive pieces inside where you can experience some of the magic that we create in our classroom. Okay, let's get started by downloading my slide deck. So that's bit.ly/STEAM slide deck, all one word, lowercase. Or you can scan that QR code and pull up the Canva slide deck that I've prepared for you. Click through this first slide and learn about who I am, what I've done, my Fugleflex, and my book. What I like to do with my students is called transdigital art, which in simple terms is you make the art, then you make it move. And our transdigital art is both physical and digital and overlaps with many of STEAM concepts. So one of the things that I wanted to provide you is a chance to dive into any of these art lessons. They're all packaged, and if you click on any of these little animations, it'll lead you to where you can get more information about the lesson. We're going to focus this presentation on 4 lessons. One is Flying with Your Snow Friend, and that's based on the storybook The Snowman by Raymond Briggs. Another is Giraffes Can't Dance, and making a dancing giraffe painting that comes to life with augmented reality and digital animation. Number 3 is based on Where the Wild Things Are, and we're going to do some painting and then learn how to do flipbook style animation digitally. And then we're going to look at Peter Meter, my book, and do a series of activities with that, including stop motion animation. Project number 1, Flying with Your Snow Friend. First, we're going to think about the art concepts involved, and that's going to be to design a snow friend and learn how to color it with shading. There is a drama aspect in that when students do their green screen video, they're going to pretend that they are flying with their snow friend, which recreates a scene from the story The Snowman by Raymond Briggs. And they're going to have a collaborative art piece where they create a city skyline and they move it with stop motion animation. They're going to display their final piece with augmented reality to connect their physical piece of art to their digital animation. And all of it is packaged and we'll take you step by step through it if you go to the Fugle Fun Fly bit.ly that I have on the screen. However, we're going to have an interaction with it through Canva. When students began this process, we looked at snow friends and we thought about how to create them in the style that Raymond Briggs had in his illustrations, but still have room for creativity and think about the accessories that they would want. They wanted their scarf to look like it was blowing in the wind, so that when we had the flying scene, there was a little bit more of a movement created by that effect. And then we wanted the glow of the night, the glow of maybe the buildings below and the darkness of night. So we wanted to focus on shading, having highlights and shadows, and working with color pencils. My students each took a turn creating a green screen video. It only needed to be about 3 seconds long, where they were pretending to be flying with their snow friend, one hand outstretched, holding on to the hand of their snow friend. And we needed that feeling of movement, so we had them wear a scarf, and the scarf had green yarn attached to it. And then off screen, we had a scarf wiggler, and then two other students would help make sure that the student was within the green area and that the wrinkles were controlled. They were on wrinkle patrol, actually. To create a feeling of movement, I had my students create a background that moved with stop motion animation for their final piece. This was a silhouette cityscape made from construction paper. And maybe you can see in the photo that the three students that worked in one group had attached their three landscapes together, their three city silhouetted landscapes, to make one long strip. They needed to move it under the camera. In the app we used was iMotion, and that's a free stop motion animation app. And they needed to move it so that it looked like it was moving from right to left, because that was the direction that we were going to face in our green screen video. And then they needed to create a 3-second animation. So our goal was to do 30 pictures at 10 frames per second. This effect could also be achieved digitally, so I want to give you the chance to experience that. I set you up in Canva with a digital cityscape that's silhouetted and a background. And what you can do is make sure that that cityscape is longer than your stage, and move it from right to left, creating an animation. So you can use the animation tools within Canva. You can do a custom animation and drag a line for an animation path and see if you can create that same effect. Now I want to give you a chance to use Canva to create a green screen effect. When I did this with my students, we used the Doing Green Screen app, which erased the green background, but Canva also has a background remove feature. So let's give that a try. And we found that one of the best ways to showcase a transdigital piece of art is through augmented reality. So I use iJack app to set up augmented reality using a still image of the animation and the animation asset. When you put those two together in the iJack Creator app, it generates a QR code. I like to incorporate that QR code into a graphic design and then put this out in the hallway at schools so that passerbyers and students in the hallway could scan it with the iJack app on an iPad or a phone and see the animation associated with this digital image. So go ahead and scan and see if you can see this image come to life. Next, we're going to take a look at Giraffes Can Dance, inspired by the book Giraffes Can't Dance. Students are going to create a piece of art that shows movement as the giraffe is in a dance pose. They're going to use UV paint and black lights to make giraffe dance under the stars. And they're going to create a digital art piece where the giraffe painting looks like it's dancing, and explore an animated book cover that comes to life with augmented reality. Our first challenge was to create a painting of a giraffe in a dance pose, and every student was to come up with their own unique dance pose. And the way that we were able to do this is not only by playing with these stuffed toys, these stuffed giraffe toys, and looking at their bodies in different poses, but we took out popsicle sticks and laid them out to represent the legs with bends in the elbows and the knees, and then trace around them so that we could have a representation of legs moving. We added a little science to the lesson with UV paint and black light flashlights to represent the scene in the book where Gerald danced under the stars. We added a little science to the lesson with UV paint and black light flashlights to represent the scene in the book where Gerald danced under the stars. Then we moved from a physical painting to a digital animation when students used a photo of their painting and brought it into the iPad using the green screen app by Do Ink. They erased the background and then designed a digital animation path that made their giraffe appear to dance. Now it's time for you to try Make the Giraffe Dance using one of the animation choices in Canva. Try using Canva's basic animation tools, add a motion effect, or create a custom animation path. One of the ways I like to hook my students at the beginning of a lesson is by making the book cover that we're basing our project on come to life with augmented reality. And in this case, I animated Gerald from Giraffes Can't Dance and made him dance. The QR code that you see can be scanned with the iJack app. If you want to scan the digital image, you'll see it come to life, but if you actually own the book, you'll see it come to life also once you've captured the information from that QR code. I know you got this. Just like a giraffe can swim if it wants, and it can knit, it can even give you a lift. Are you going to tell this giraffe that it can't choreograph? So relax and just give it a try. Way to go, you giraffe. This next lesson is going to be based on Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. And in this lesson, first graders are going to create a painting using shape, size, color balance, and visual texture. The technology part might come in at the beginning where we do a drag and drop activity where students imagine the design, and they also create a digital bookmark collage. Then music is used to help teach the concept of visual texture, and animation gets pulled in at the end to make this transdigital where they animate the photo of their painting and make it into a flipbook animated GIF. I created a drag and drop activity for my students for the interactive whiteboard that helped them visualize their wild thing creature before we put pencil on paper. I wanted them to think big, I wanted them to think expressively, and this activity helped them visualize. I've modified it so that you can have this experience in Canva. So go ahead, drag and drop, and create your own wild thing. The art lesson involved in this project requires students to think in terms of shapes, color balance, symmetry, and then they finalize their piece with visual texture, including a chance to listen to a song sung and performed by first graders about visual texture. When the painting was complete, we used a photograph of their work and moved it into the digital realm, first with a bookmark collage project where they could take a piece of art that was inspired by a book and later put it back into a book as a bookmark. So here is a chance for you to try what they did on their iPads. They organized their bookmark collage on an iPad using layered tools in the Brushes app, but you can do it in Canva by dragging, dropping, and resizing. Next, we use the digital version of our Wild Thing painting to turn it into a flipbook style animated GIF. We use the Brushes app and use the layers to redraw little changes, export them as images, and throw them into a GIF maker website called easygif.com. All of the steps are in this little tutorial that you can click and play. All right, I set up an opportunity for you to give this a try. So there are detailed instructions on this slide. You're going to go to the next slide and arrange the face. I gave you pieces. You can change them out. And then go to the next slide and make a slight change from your original. And then go to the third slide and make another slight change. You're going to go to all of the buttons that I tell you about where you're going to export and make it into an animated GIF here in Canva. Then you're going to do some cropping so you could pull it into a new slide and crop it until you only see your animated character. The final lesson that we're going to look at is about emotional robots based on Peter Meter, which is an augmented reality social emotional learning book about a robot that becomes emotional when his buttons are pushed. And this book is my book, and so I've designed this lesson as one piece of all the things that you can do with Peter Meter. The lesson begins with a relief sculpture built out of cardboard with movable pieces that represent expressive features of a robot face and buttons that could be pushed through the illusion of stop motion animation. I've simplified the stop motion animation process in this particular lesson to a matter of 6 frames and allowed the finger to be filmed as if it is causing the action of button pushing and emotions changing. So you'll see the sequence. One is a neutral face, and then the first button is pushed and we get the first emotion, and then the finger goes away, the emotion remains. The second button is pushed in frame 4, a new emotion is evoked, the hand goes away in frame 5, and 6 is a new emotion and the third button pushed. As an extra layer of magic, I challenge students to try rotoscope animation using the Do Ink animation and drawing app on our iPads. So we pull in the stop motion animation video and we take it frame by frame and literally draw over the frames to make the buttons and the robot seem to light up in response to the buttons being pushed. Now it's your turn to give this a try. So what I want to see you do is over the next few slides, either try using the built-in animation tools within, in this case, you would do nothing. And then on the next slide, you can drag one of these animations over, or you could use the drawing tools in Canva and draw a response on your robot to the button being pushed. In slide 3, you do nothing, but then again, the finger's pressing the second button. So you would create a response either with these pre-made animations, or you can draw over the slide in Canva and have a reaction that way. Do nothing in slide 5, and then in 6, do your final animation. So now you can go back, export the selected slides, turn it into an animated GIF, put them on a new slide, and crop it until you can see something that looks like a rotoscope animation. And while we're talking about STEAM art lessons based on Peter or Meter, I want to tell you about the treasure trove of stuff that I've created for this book. I have STEAM lessons that touch on science, technology, engineering, art, and math. This book is fully augmented. That means that there's a 3D model that comes to life powered by Quiver Vision and over 42 instances of two-dimensional augmented reality. It's a social emotional learning book, and there's so much that I pulled out and put into an activity packet that's free for you to download. You can download the activity packet for free at bit.ly/capital Peter lowercase stuff. At Peter Stuff, you can find all of the resources and all of the future resources that I've made for Peter or Meter. When you go to that Peter Stuff link that I shared with you, you're going to find a ton of resources. I'm going to give you a peek at some of them. One is an augmented reality t-shirt in the style of Peter or Meter's emotion panel. It comes to life when it's scanned with the Quiver app. Also, there's a Peter or Meter stop motion animation kit. And so you could print it out and go through the steps of putting together that emotional robot lesson instead of making it out of cardboard. There's also a Canva doc that you can download and use for social emotional learning check-ins. You could build your own robot, and you could also swipe out the face and the expression of Peter or Meter and use that to ask your students how they're feeling. There's also resources for helping students show their feelings through animation and make their robots able to share their feelings. And this is the Animated Glow mini course. Print and play the stop motion animation emotion bot kit based on Peter or Meter. Start by cutting out Peter's 6 expressions. Each expression matches one of the buttons on his emotion panel. Then, take pictures of you pressing Peter's buttons. Put one photo on each slide in a Canva doc. Every time you press a button, use the drawing tool to light up something on Peter. Your drawing can make it look like your finger really did press a button on Peter and something lit up. Add sound effects each time a button is pushed. But wait, there's more. Yes, of course there is, because Peter Meter focuses a lot on social emotional learning, and one of the things that Peter needs to do is figure out how to unwind. So I wanted to create a coloring and drawing book that would allow children to engage with the content of the story in a relaxing and calming, creative way. So as we wrap up this presentation, I want to point out at the end of your slide deck, you'll see a Make It Move It page that has a whole bunch of animations that represent different STEAM lessons I've done with my students. If you click on any of those, it'll take you to the unique resource where you can get a detailed description of how to do this project with your students. I am, again, an elementary art teacher who loves to make art and make it move. And I hope that this presentation has inspired some ways that you can incorporate more STEAM into what you do with your students. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. I'm going to leave with you an example of how my students have incorporated these digital animation, green screen effects, and other apps into making an engaging musical story about how careless behavior can crush the dreams of artwork on display at school.
Don't crush my dreams. They fall apart when I fill with seams. I want to be displayed. The original way that I was made. It may be cute when you wrinkle your nose, but it's not cute to be a portrait full of folds. Don't crush my dreams. Don't crush my dreams. Don't crush my dreams. Don't crush my dreams. I hope one day to hang in a gallery, but nobody frames artwork full of stains. Your hands, they smear me. Your fingers, they smudge. Why come so near me? Don't you know that I can't budge? What's a rip? What's a tear? Do I matter to you when you need to get somewhere? Don't crush my dreams. Don't crush my dreams. Don't crush my dreams. Don't crush my dreams.
Keep me nice for always. Show respect in the hallways. And by every means, do not crush my dreams.
Don't crush my dreams. Don't crush my dreams.
Look at where you're going.
What are you doing to me?